right, Lake Orion. Here is the Lake Orion Cares podcast, our first one. And brought to you by Orion Neighborhood Television. I'm Ian Locke, Executive Director there at Orion Neighborhood Television, and Joe Johnson, our studio manager, will be joining us shortly. This podcast is a way to help Orion residents to get up-to-date information, not only about COVID-19, but official information from your state, county, and local officials. We'll be sharing tons of information about what's happening around town, resources you can use, all that good stuff. But we're also going to have some good news around town. When there's good news, we're going to share it with you. All right, it's an odd time in our history, so sometimes good news will get you through some tough times, yeah? We got some support groups for our mental health, plus much more. We're going to share that with you. It's always important to keep your mind sound, right? We'll also try to bring you some interviews for those out in the community working on the front lines, making sure we're all safe, fed, and doing what we're all supposed to be doing at this time. What is that? Stay indoors. We might even throw in some music to lighten up the mood. Got some running right now. Not bad, right? All right. So to reach out to us at ONTV at Orion Cares Podcast, email us at ONTV@OrionONTV.org. Make sure that you include the LO Cares in the email heading. And you can also give us a call at 248-393-1060. Always looking for those good news stories around town. And if you need some assistance, just give us a call. We'll forward you on to the people that can give you a hand. Now, some information we're going to bring to you. Before we do, we'll welcome Joe Johnson into the LO Cares podcast.
How's it
Mr.
going,
Johnson, how are you, sir?
Trying to keep my sanity, staying indoors like I'm supposed to.
Very good. But again, like we were saying, ONTV is still in business, right? Our staff is working hard. They're putting information out on the message boards, out on Facebook, working with the township, the village, and school district. And Joe, you were out and about over at Woodside not too long ago. Share some good news.
I ran over there just to see what their setup was. Apparently, they were collecting donations for medical staff. So they had a blue bin set outside the door on the south side of the building with a list of items that they're looking for: hand sanitizers, face masks, that sort of stuff. Originally, there was a cutoff point, but they've extended that in. Is that correct?
That's true. What they did was they did have it was like a 1 day or 2 day event or collection period, but they've changed that now, and I have the slide up on the screen. So you can make donations at all Woodside Bible Church locations in Troy, Romeo, Lake Orion, Royal Oak, Plymouth, or White Lake at their campuses there. Suggested items again were the N95 respirator face mask, face shields, eye protection, sterile gloves, sanitary hand and foam, soap, that sort of thing, hand sanitizer, isolation gowns, and the like. You can head on over to woodsidebible.org for more information on how you can donate. And the collection bag was out there. I think you got some video. We don't have it today, but you were out there, correct?
Yeah, I just shot a little bit of video of the setup out there. I mean, I think it's important to document what we're going through right now. A week earlier, I was out just kind of shooting video of the restaurants and how they've adapted and how they're doing the curbside pickup and drive-through and all that stuff. So it's important to document, because someday we're going to look back at this period as such an influential time. I mean, I think we're going to come out different people when this is all done.
I agree. Something, and a lot of people listening to this podcast, again, this is the Lake Orion Cares podcast brought to you by Orion Neighborhood Television, trying to bring you good information, solid information, official information from the local officials, and good practices as well. Something that my family just went through is we tried to go grocery shopping. And what do they tell you?
What was that like?
Well, they say stay away, right? Stay away, get what you can. And we thought we had enough. And then we hear, there's an extension to what's happening here, right? So they're adding days to this, stay home order. And so we needed some grocery items. We've got 2 teenagers in the house who are hungry and eat a lot of food. And so we reached out to, we looked into the Kroger delivery option, right, and Meijer. And the Kroger option, I have to say, was pretty easy. You log in to the Kroger website. You get to pick which store you would like to shop from. And they told us, here's a big list of items that they have available for you to pick from. It's not a comprehensive list, but it's everything you would really need. And we went through and checked how many we wanted. Then they told us, hey, you're going to be routed from the Baldwin Kroger, which is kind of our home Kroger location. They said, you're going to go over to the one in Lake Orion, north of town. So it's like, hey, as long as we can get food, we're okay, right? So it was a pretty easy situation. You ordered your food. They told you whether they got back with us this morning, which was our pickup day, and said you can have this item or do you need a replacement item? We don't have these, and so on. And so you knew going in what you could get, what you couldn't get, and rolled over to the Kroger. They had specific parking bays, spaces you parked in, and it had a number or the phone number. You called the phone number, told them what bay you're in, what your name was. They popped out with your receipt, and you popped the back hatch on the minivan, and the staff at Kroger were great. They loaded the food in, and everything worked out fine. It's no touch, didn't have to touch the groceries, and it worked out great. Have you tried the online shopping at all, Joe?
No, I actually have gone into Meijer and Kroger to pick up a few things. The atmosphere there is pretty interesting. A lot of people wearing masks, which they're now encouraging.
Yeah.
For the most part, people are maintaining the 6 feet distance as you walk the aisles. I have seen some interesting comments on Facebook that there have been some people who've gone into stores and there are children running around and playing in the stores and bumping into people. And one bit of advice that I saw online is if you do need supplies, send one person to limit the exposure. Don't take the family out to go shopping. You would think you wouldn't have to say that, but people are taking their children to the stores. Now, maybe they can't get a sitter or something like that. Maybe there's some circumstances there. If that's the case, then maybe do the online shopping. But for the most part, what I experienced, the people were very respectful. It almost reminds me of that period of time after 9/11 where everybody seems very friendly now and waving and saying hi. I went out for a walk about a week ago, and I went into a subdivision I had never been in before. And I saw people were out. They were maintaining distance, but everybody was very friendly. They were like, hey, where are you from? And, we were chatting at a distance. So everybody seems to be courteous and friendly for the most part and following the rules. So, so far, it's been a pretty pleasant experience.
So, and we found the same thing, out and about walking, people following the rules for the most part. I did have to run into the ONTV studio to fix some equipment that broke. And once there, we found some other equipment that broke that, since you're not there, you didn't know it was broken until you started smelling something pretty bad. So luckily I was in to fix it. But yeah, driving in, I saw a lot of people at the parks. Now, Oakland County has opened the parks, right? I mean, they've
free admission.
Officially free admission, hop in there. It's like, but you go by Lake 16 and the cars are stacked in a line and all the people standing on the dock. And it's like, still, for me, I'm staying away. I'm going in my yard or my neighborhood in the morning before people are out. We're going for like mid to late afternoon for a bike ride or for a walk. And we're taking the long way around town, and keeping our distance. So everybody has to make their own choices. But like Chris Barnett was saying, if you don't know, Chris Barnett, Township Supervisor here in Lake Orion, does a daily video update of everything that's happening and giving you good news, specific instructions and different things coming online daily, because this whole thing is shifting by the hour even. I mean, by the time we get done with this little podcast here, probably half the stuff we said is going to be obsolete. But
we could almost do this daily.
Yeah, it's just this thing. But you can watch the videos. He puts them on Facebook around between 5 and 6 p.m., and you can't miss it. And we have them running on ONTV's website at OnTV.org. Let me go real quick over here. I'm going to change screens here, Joe, if you don't mind. We're going
Hey,
to
I'm
show.
curious, while you're doing that, how are you
Yeah.
handling when you bring the groceries back home? Is there a protocol, decontamination process you go through?
Actually, we did. If you have seen the video, we've been running it about how to wash your groceries. That's a good friend of mine from Michigan State, Dr. Jeffrey Van Wingen. And it's gone 25 million views worldwide and was on the NBC Nightly News just not too long ago, sharing that information with the world, really. And we followed his instructions. Don't If you bring your groceries inside, make sure you have a clean and sterile space in which to clean and do what you need to do with. And if you don't have a clean space inside your house, I would say do the old leave it outside and wash it outside. And that's what my wife and I did. We put the tailgate of our van up. We started washing our food and take a peek at it. We have it on our video on demand site. Didn't catch me on trying to navigate through the website. So right now on the screen we have our government video on demand site at ONTV.org. And you can see the different videos we have, the updates from Chris Daly, Township Supervisor. We also have information on COVID-19 information. But here's the video we have listed. We got it listed as a stay at home, stay safe. I believe this is it. I'll have to hit go. Yeah, so PSA to
My name is Jeffrey Van Wingen. I'm a family physician practicing in Grand Rapids, Michigan with 20 years experience.
Who would have thought, that we would have to do that, basically decontaminate the groceries. Now, from what I understand, the virus lives on certain surfaces for up to 3 days, right? So
correct.
After a few days, it should be all right.
Yeah, so 3 days on cardboard. So if you buy stuff on cardboard, that could be anything from, boxes of noodles and, the like. You can leave it outside in your garage for 3 days, and it should, after 3 days, kill the virus. But it does on metal surfaces stay longer. For fruit, basically they're saying, any fruit you have, unbag it, put it inside a bowl of some sort, go inside and wash it with warm water. I think in the video he says soap and water, but that was the initial instructions. Now it is just warm water, and get that all washed up for you, and then you can eat it. But yeah, you do have to wipe everything, and you can use a typical sanitizer out of like a Lysol, the wipes that we use. As long as it's saturated with the disinfectant on it, you can wipe it down and it works well. So this is the video we have from Dr. Van Wingen, and he gives a really in-depth and enlightening instructions on how to handle this situation with your groceries. Have you washed your groceries yet, Joe?
No, but I am washing my hands like a crazy person. I feel like Howard Hughes. Like when I come home and I unpack, and I don't buy a ton of groceries. I bought enough to get through a week. Once I unpack everything, hands get washed. Before I prepare anything, hands get washed. If a package arrives in the mail, I'll open the package, discard everything, wash my hands.
Yeah.
I'm almost obsessive compulsive now.
Yeah, it's interesting that you start thinking, and here I am, touching my beard, and you're not supposed to do that. I go, good thing I've washed my hands at least 5-6 times today. I even pumped gas today down at Costco with rubber gloves on.
Wow.
Right? Because you don't know who's touching especially at $1.15 a gallon, a lot of crowds going down there to get some gas. So just be safe out there.
I read a point that even though it's almost impossible to find right now, but if you want to keep hand sanitizer in your car for that reason, pump gas, hand sanitize. If you're out and about, you always have that hand sanitizer in the car. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find it anywhere.
I have information. This is the good news. This is some of the good news. Yeah, so I didn't find any, but M&B Graphics, the guys down at M&B Graphics, we do a lot of work with them around Lake Orion and ONTV, and local business here in Lake Orion doing really good. The whole family over at M&B is producing hand sanitizer by the gallon, but they are bottling it and they're donating it over at the Orion Center. And if you need hand sanitizer, they have it, and they're bottling it, they're making it, and they're following the rules of how to make it. And then you can have a little, bottle to take with you. It's so hard to come by, and we hear price gouging and people doing some nasty things. But guys at MBB Graphics and everybody over there doing a great job donating. I think they said they bottled 1,000.
Wow.
I could be wrong about maybe a couple hundred bottles, but they're on their way to 1,000. So Lake Orion businesses coming through in a pinch to help everybody out.
The last time I was, when I went out to Meijer and Kroger, a lot of the staples were in full supply. There was lots of bread, milk, eggs, that sort of stuff. But I was shocked to see that certain shelves were still empty. Hand sanitizer, toilet paper, mostly the whole paper aisle was empty. And I'm a little shocked, and I don't know if you've heard any updates. Why have these shelves been empty for so long? I mean, I heard from my sister that she was at a store and they brought some toilet paper out on a pallet, and they said one pack per customer, and everyone surrounded it like piranha, and it didn't even make the shelves. Why can't they keep up with the demand? I'm a little confused by that.
Well, what we're finding, and this kind of goes, I'm glad you brought that up because it kind of rolls into our discussion of, the restaurants locally, right? Supply chain, right? There's a complex system that our businesses have to rely on and their supplies and the chain and, the flow of goods and ordering and getting things they need. They're really being disrupted now with, what's happening here. So I know the toilet paper factories are working OT. And
OT on the TP.
They are OT on the TP. And I know it comes in and it goes out so quickly. And I heard the rationing too. Luckily, we went shopping before this all hit, so we had a whole 2 cases here in our house. But yeah, the supply chains run. People are running into problems with the supply chain and trying to find that. Delivers are coming in, but it's not at the amount that everybody's used to. But they're also, here's the question: on an average week, how much turnover in product do not restaurants, but grocery stores really have with, like, say, toilet paper? It doesn't all go in a week, so they cycle through. You get some, you don't get shelf after shelf of these products. So the supply chain's running into some issues nationwide. And not only that, but you did a good piece not too long ago on supporting our local restaurants and getting takeout and carry out and that sort of thing. If they're still open, everybody, please check the Chamber of Commerce, the Lake Orion Chamber of Commerce, for restaurants that have the takeout still. And
the DDA website has that too, a really nice list. You could look at menus and everything.
It's on Township?
No, the downtown Lake Orion.com or .org. I get those mixed up. I think either one works. But you click on a link, it'll tell you who's offering it. Now, I think it needs to be updated because I see that 313 Pizza is still listed, but I think they've temporarily closed their doors, right?
They have.
So don't be surprised if you contact a restaurant and they're closed for the duration.
Yeah. 313 has shut down just because supply chain issues, right? And if this continues, it could impact other restaurants throughout the area, right?
I saw an interesting post on Facebook by Great Harvest Bread Company. They announced that they were no longer offering sandwiches, but the reason was pretty interesting. They said that by eliminating sandwiches, they can still sell bread and make money selling bread. They want to send customers to other restaurants to get sandwiches and food. And I thought that was very generous of them to limit what they're offering to encourage their customers to shop elsewhere. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, get the unique item that they have available at their store. Get the common item someplace else to kind of share the wealth in a way.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, so let's do this. So here's our setup, Lake Orion Cares podcast here. This is our first one here with Joe Johnson, studio manager at ONTV. I'm Ian Locke, executive director at ONTV. And we're just trying to do something in the shutdown. And we came up with this format here. Joe is on a web chat coming in from his humble abode, and I am relegated to a messy basement,
I'm in the
surrounded
back
by
cave.
Legos, and doing the best I can to not step on those sharp plastic pieces. But again, this is our first go at it. And if you look on the screen, we have a need help number, 248-391-0304, extension 3507. And that is through the township. If you need assistance, you can call that number, or help at oriontownship.org. And if you need food, you need help collecting medicine, there's a whole group of people, the what do you call it? The COVID-19 task force, which ONTV is a part of. And we're part of the communications chain trying to get this information out to you. So you call that number or email help at oriontownship.org. And Orion Township staff will answer the phone, answer your email, get your information. If you need food, medicines, you need a ride someplace to the doctor, you can call that number, and they will get your information to those who can help you. Okay? Food is being donated. If you have food that you can donate, you can drop it off at the Orion Center. I think it is 10 a.m. through 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. And I know Chris Barnett was out Sunday. He heard it just this week. He was out. He heard a kind of a distress call from somebody who called that number and said, "Hey, I've got 6 kids and a single parent saying, what do I need some help?" Wow. And he was able to load the food up from the Orion Center and take it over to this family in need on a Sunday, and got them through a couple days. So there are people in need, and this number is helping, and there's people out there that can give you a hand. So
Oxford Orion Fish, I believe, is offering curbside pickup. Oh, and I also want to mention, we were talking about ordering your groceries online. To any senior citizens out there listening, if you want to take advantage of that service, NOTA, North Oakland Transportation Authority, will pick up your groceries for you.
Yep.
You place the order, you pay for it. They will arrive. You let them know that a NOTA vehicle will be picking up your groceries. They will pick them up and deliver them to you. So that is an amazing service. They're also offering transportation. As long as you're healthy and you're feeling good, they will transport you for free. You don't have to be a NOTA member. You just have to be a senior citizen in this area with a need. So.
Yep, that's correct. And on the sidebar there, our viewers, if you can see, we have the key hotline numbers, information at the school district, official information at lakeorionschools.org, Oakland County, and NOTA. Need a ride? 248-693-7100. And here we have their website. So hop on over to notaride.org. And
that's one thing about this community, whenever something like this happens, that's one thing I love about being in this community is people always come together and help each other out and share resources. And I'm sure we're not alone in that, but Lake Orion sure is special when it comes to being there for each other.
It is. And in this time, it's amazing. We already have all the people in place, and the good relationships we have with different entities around town, like ONTV, we're always working with our Chamber of Commerce, the township, the village. We're all mingling daily. So when it comes into, and the churches, all the different congregations around town, everybody knows each other. No one's on an island here in Lake Orion. Everybody's coming together, and at this time, that's what's really impressive is township gets together, says this is what we're going to do. We got it all laid out. We just need to get the people that are in the know. How can we get information out? Call ONTV, call the Lake Orion Review, right? Social media is there for everybody, but you have these systems in place already that when this type of thing happens, we just hope it doesn't happen again. But when these things happen, the community can respond quickly and efficiently. That's the key.
We neglected to mention the breaking story, the big story that in-person school attendance is done for the year, correct?
That is correct.
Now, you're a parent of some children still in school. How's that impacting your family, your children?
Well, I have a senior and an 8th grader. So my senior is crushed, but she's bounced back. I mean, we kind of knew this was coming. We kind of heard through the grapevine that a couple days ago, and we did our crying. We were angry. We were frustrated. All the things that a senior is looking forward to. She's a member of the track team and was a senior captain this year. Trained all winter, was ready to go for the season, and it just began, I think, a week and a half prior to the shutdown. So we're having a hard time with it. But, the main thing, I think, for a lot of the seniors are, can I walk across that stage? That's the main question that we're getting from some of the seniors. Are we going to be able to walk across the stage and get our diploma, all these years? That's kind of the build-up.
It's a milestone. I mean, it's a big part of your youth to experience that. And my heart breaks for those young people going through this. The emotions that I feel now aren't really about me. I'll get through this. I'll be fine. I think about the impact this has on students, on the working people whose jobs are in jeopardy. The impact on this is just heartbreaking and devastating. And I feel so bad for these young people who their school year is at an end.
Yeah, that is true. And there's always online learning that's coming on Monday. What do we say? That's the 6th.
The 6th.
Online classes are starting K through 8. You should be getting messages from your teachers soon. The high school kids, obviously, being contacted by their teachers about what's happening, but it's not the same. You're not interacting with your peers daily. You're not seeing your friends. You're kind of away. And it's obviously a different type of situation than we've ever experienced. And it's one that we just kind of, hey, this is reality now, and we just kind of have to deal with it. Now, I do have a video from Marion Giannopoulos that was posted today at the Lake Orion Community Schools website at lakeorionschools.org, today being April 2nd, 2020. Let me hit play on this video and see what she has to say. Can you hang around, Joe?
Definitely.
Okay. Let's take a listen to what Marion Giannopoulos had to say today.
Hello, Lake Orion Dragons. This is Mrs. Giannopoulos, your superintendent. I really miss all of you, and I had hoped that the message today from Governor Whitmer that we would not be returning to school until the fall is one that would never come. But the reality is, for your safety, for the safety of all of our families and our staff members and their families, returning to our school buildings this year is just not appropriate. As I always talk about, your health and your safety is always and will always be a top priority for all of us in Lake Orion Community Schools. So my feelings probably mirror yours. I'm disappointed. Quite frankly, I'm frustrated. I'm concerned about the safety and well-being of all of our students in the school district, as well as everyone in the community, in our state, and the world at large. But fortunately, we have a lot of experts in this world who are working day and night at breakneck speed to find a way to eradicate this awful virus. Now here in the Lake Orion community educational world, we are going to provide our students with the most appropriate finish to the school year that we can possibly give under these circumstances. These details are going to be shared with our families by the end of this week, which is our stay-at-home spring break week. So please be on the lookout for that information. That information will be sent to all of our families. Most importantly, or equally important, I know that this is very difficult on the class of 2020, our seniors. They certainly have a different ending to their school year than we could imagine. But as Dragons, we're going to stay strong. During this spring break week, we hope everyone stays relaxed and healthy. And next week, the learning activities will begin. And for the next few months, we're going to continue to connect virtually, from teachers to students, from families to their schools, from the Orion area community and from the world at large. And as a district, I am going to do whatever I can to replicate the in-person year-end events that we define in our very own Dragon way. I know this is a trying time for everyone, but we're going to find a way through it. We're going to get to the other side, and we are going to feel proud that Lake Orion Dragons were resilient. One last thing. If there are any families or students that need help or personally know of someone, please connect with our staff members and we'll do whatever we can. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay home, and know that we all miss you in the Lake Orion Community Schools. Thank you.
Nice message by Superintendent Giannopoulos there. Like you're saying, Joe, it's just one of those things that you can never prepare for, and things just kind of happen the way they happen.
And it's got to hit her hard too, because isn't this her last year?
Yeah, she's supposed to, and she was all excited about, saying bye to the senior class. She said, "This is my last class."
Wow. And
my daughter, being a senior, has met Superintendent Giannopoulos, and the kids like her. It was kind of like, hey, we're leaving together type of thing. It's like a hey, right? And now we don't know. There's no official announcement of what's going to happen down the line, if there's going to be, graduation at some point. Everything, like we said, changes by the hour. Stay-at-home orders have been extended, and we're just kind of floating on a cloud going, what's happening next?
Yeah, definitely. It's rough. I see people on Facebook talk about maybe holding a prom later when this is all over, just to give them that experience. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to do some things down the road to create some memories for these kids.
Well, we got some other things happening around town. Let me pull up a graphic here. You can donate today at Love Inc. This was a new thing that came online this week. So Love Inc. does a lot of wonderful things around the community. They have connections to all of the churches. You want to get to a church or get to all of the church, Love Inc. is the way to do it. So Love Inc. info, NOC.org, and they have a new COVID-19 page, /Orion COVID. So if you want to donate, and I believe, let me try to find it, Love Inc.
Well, do they have a drop-off location at the Orion Center too? Or...
Love Inc. I don't believe so, but they are working with the Orion Center and Township and all the churches and the members of the task force, the COVID-19 task force, to help anybody in need. So they just got a donation button. Let me get back to our little browser window here, and you can see the website. So here's Love Inc. They have a donation button. So now, because people were asking about, can we donate cash if we don't have items? Some people can't donate those food items because they need to eat, and you're not supposed to go out and have food drives now and all these other things. So they have a donate here via PayPal. And the first donation of the week was $500 from a local resident. So that food goes to that money goes to Love Inc. Love Inc. then translates that into items and of need, and they have the purchasing power to get different things and distribute those to the churches and get them out to those congregants or friends of congregants and neighbors to get you what you need if you are in distress. So this is a new thing just this week. So if you want to donate cash, you can do it via Love Inc. And they have a PayPal button right on their website. And you can't go wrong working with Love Inc.
I see where I messed up. I got an email that from the Lake Orion DDA. The top part is talking about donations for Love Inc. And then directly below it, it says donations needed at the Orion Center. So those are two different things. Okay.
Yep, they are two different things, but they all go to the same place, to those who are in need. We're about 34 minutes into the Lake Orion Cares podcast. We are in our first episode. Hopefully we can do this multiple times a week, potentially. Maybe an end of the week summary. We're still trying to figure that out. But, with Joe and I being broadcasters and have been for quite some time, as you can see the gray in our beards, we've been doing this a long time. And I know one thing, Joe, and I think you can agree, is like we like communicating with others, and we do it with technology. And we found a way to do it with found cables in my basement and random pieces of things, and it's working.
I'm just blown away by how technology is bringing everybody together, whether it's Zoom, whether it's being able to remotely access my desktop at work, using my phone to record video and share it, social media. It's apparent that it's become so crucial in maintaining those relationships with the community, with friends, with family. I'm blown away by what we've been able to accomplish through technology.
Yeah. Usually what do we say about technology? We usually complain, it's supposed to make our lives easier. And on an average day, I think over the last couple of years, it's not working. Why is this not working? Technology is supposed to make our life better, make things easier. Well, we're kind of living and showing that it is making our lives, and at least our working lives right now, easier. Because if we didn't have this, oh boy, I'd be going crazy. I'd be sitting at home going,
It's providing some humor too, which is important. I saw a thing going around. It was originally posted on Twitter where a company was having a Zoom meeting or some sort of online meeting. And I think the boss had recently downloaded something where you can convert yourself into different objects and stuff. And she had been playing with it, and she had turned herself into a potato.
Yes.
And when she logged into the meeting, she appeared on screen as a potato and couldn't undo it. And so she was like, forget it, I'll just do the whole meeting as a potato.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the type of content I love on Twitter and social media. That's hilarious.
Yeah, you take a heavy situation and you make it a little bit lighter. I did see that, and it was a bad-looking potato. I'll just say that.
It was underground for some strange reason.
It didn't look right. I know that for sure. What else do we have here? We talked about Township, North Oakland County.
Talk about them.
Say that again.
LO Embroidery making masks.
Yeah. LO Embroidery. What can you say about the people down there? LO Embroidery put together 1,000 masks, sewed them, put them together by hand, and donated them out. And they're making more. So they've, in a period of 10 days, they had 1,000 masks prepared and given them out to those in need. The first responders, those on the front line of what we're dealing with here. It's amazing. Some of the terminology we're hearing now is very, I don't want to say it's a war, but it is kind of a war on this this bug that we're experiencing here. So it's like the front line and getting stuff out to the front line and triage hospitals and field hospitals. It's interesting to hear the terminology being used that we haven't heard in a long, long time.
Speaking of masks, you said earlier the information just keeps changing. Early on, they said, don't bother wearing a mask. It's not going to help. Now they're saying everyone might be better off wearing a mask when you go out, because if someone coughs or something, that's airborne for a certain period of time. And now they're saying that masks may help. So kudos to LO Embroidery for meeting the need.
Absolutely. And you're right. I just saw, what was it? The national news was reporting, even we heard things from the White House saying that the more they study this bug and its resiliency to things, yes, it's like we said earlier in the podcast, it sticks to surfaces for so long, it stays in the air for so long. But the new information we're getting is the incubation period or carriers and who gets it. I mean, you and I may have it at this moment, but it's just not triggering in our bodies to make us ill.
But others you can still transfer it, yeah.
Yes, but we can still pass it on, just exactly. So they're saying in Asia, they've been doing this man, I was over in Tokyo back in '93, and they residents of Tokyo, if they didn't feel well, they wore a mask. And we thought, oh, that's kind of odd. And he said, well, it's out of courtesy. They don't want to get anybody sick. Or like, okay, it's something we don't do here. We've never seen it before.
No.
And that's kind of part of the, they've been doing that for a long time. And a lot of experts are looking at that. Maybe that's the right way to go. That's how they curbed the infection rate, besides staying apart from one another, staying home. But they also had the masks on, and those who were carriers also did not spread it. So I have a feeling that that's going to come down the line pretty soon. And they even said, use a bandana. Use anything to cover your face so you don't, expel, the particulate if you have it, if you're infected with it, that sort of thing, out to others. So it's an interesting development, and I'm sure we're going to hear more news about that as time rolls on.
People are making predictions as to what life might be like after this. And I wonder, is that going to be common? Are we going to see more face masks in public? Is shaking hands done? Are we done with shaking hands? I don't know if it's going to make a return. And I think if in the future, if you refuse a handshake, I don't think that should be frowned upon. I think you should understand that, no, I'm good.
Yeah, like you said, who knows? I mean, yeah. It could be, you could see it, this could be a whole societal shift in, like you said, inter and intrapersonal interactions with people and groups and that sort of thing, but who knows? One thing I do want to share, and we kind of added this just late to the game before we started recording, is county information. Let me bring up our little browser here and go to the county information. Where are we at here? On the county site, they have a map with your zip code. If you wanted to go to oakgov.com/COVID, and they have this, I don't want to call it neat or interesting because of the topic that we're talking about here, but you can actually go into this map and see infections and reported. The one thing that they don't have are the tests, how many tests are being done. But here in Lake Orion, you can see, if I'm doing the north part of Lake Orion, this is as reported by the county, so I don't know how accurate it is. I'm sure it's updated daily. But in the 48362 zip code, you have 12 total cases of confirmed infection out of a population of 15,756. But we know that number is just, it's got to be higher because of the lack of testing done on the average citizen just rolling around. These are confirmed. People in the hospital are usually the only ones getting these tests. So moving down to the middle of the township, this is 48360, 8 confirmed cases out of a population of 12,055. And if you look at the south part of the township, 9 total cases out of 9,634 residents. So we know these numbers are going up, and as the White House is saying, CDC is saying, Chris Barnett's saying, the governor, everybody is saying, is that this is just the beginning. This is not the tip, right? This is not the peak. We're about a week away from the peak. We thought the peak would be at the end of this week. It's not. It's looking like it could be the end of next week, if not further out.
And think about how much worse it could potentially be if we weren't taking these drastic measures. I know a lot of people are complaining that they're being inconvenienced, but really think about that. We are, as they say, flattening that curve by, implementing these measures and keeping those numbers low.
Absolutely. And you can see on the map, I mean, if you're looking, I still have the map up on the screen, and you can just kind of roll through this. You can see high concentrations of infection down to just north of Livonia is where it kind of begins at the line there, and Southfield, Lathrop Village, Farmington Hills, Bloomfield, up through Pontiac are the highest concentrations. And there was some discussion about, even nationally speaking, why in the inner city or high population areas, let's say Pontiac, let's say Detroit proper and Wayne County, why are the infection rates so high? And a lot of it has to do with poverty. And they said, if you have a high concentration of individuals living in a population center and poverty is high, you're not getting the greatest health care, right? High instances of obesity and diabetes and a variety of other things. So if you run into a bug like COVID-19, it is devastating. So that's kind of what we're seeing here, but it's creeping. You have the epicenter and it's kind of just doing this. And if you're not staying home, you're part of the problem, at least in my opinion.
Definitely.
All right, let's see. What do we got here? We're almost at an hour at 45 minutes. Again, this is the Lake Orion Cares podcast. Joe Johnson from ONTV here on a web chat. I'm Ian Locke from ONTV as well. And let me go to our browser window once again. And you can see our helpline if you need help. You can call the Township Hotline, 248-391-0304, extension 3507. And talk to Orion Township staff member, and they can get you on the list of things that if you need food, you need medicine, you need a ride, you need some help, we can get you help. Official school district information at lakeorionschools.org. Oakland County, you can call them at 248-693-7100. Oh, excuse me, that is that's not Oakland County, that is NODA. So that is a typo on the screen. County, you can go to oakgov.com for detailed information.
Visit our Facebook page, too, for updates. I just posted something just moments ago. This just in. Stacy Galloway, our news anchor on ONTV, shared a link with me that Nikon is offering free online photography classes for all of April. So If you want to develop your photography skills, there are free classes online for those of you doing the right thing and staying at home.
Wow, that's some good information. The one thing we want to encourage everybody to do before we sign off here is go to Facebook if you're into that. Some people aren't, but you can sign up for the Orion Cares Facebook group, and inside that group is a place exclusively for people asking for help or people that are in need, or if you have services you can offer to those in need. That's where you can do it at Lake Orion Cares Facebook group. All right, so let's see. What do we have? We're about recording this in the afternoon, early evening on April 2nd. It's about 5:10. Something here in the township they've started was go say hi to your neighbor at 6, right? Get out and wave, get out and about, stay within your 6 feet, but but don't forget your neighbors. Get out and check on your neighbors at 6 p.m. and it's starting to catch on. The other thing is, if I don't say this, Jenny Body over at Township's going to kill us. The census. Fill out your census form. It takes really, 2 minutes?
Yeah, I did mine. Went online, answered a few questions, and I was done. And it's all online. You don't have to mail anything in. If you don't do it, they're going to come looking for you. But do it online. It just takes minutes. And what excuse do you have? We have nothing but time right now.
Exactly. Besides washing our groceries and folding laundry and doing podcasts, fill out the census form. Takes no time at all. And that really impacts funding here in the community for situations like this. And the schools and a variety of other things. So fill out that census and get it in. I think I've got one more graphic to pop up here. Okay, just as a reminder, help residents of Orion Township here. Donations needed. Monday through Friday, again, this is the donations at the Orion Center through that helpline. So if you have donations you would like to send out, drop off, you can do it. Drop them off Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 4:30. I think I said 10 to 4, but it's 9:30 to 4:30 at the Orion Center, the big blue building on Joslyn Road, with ONTV right next door. Okay, so with that being said, we can wrap this first edition of Lake Orion Cares up. I hope it's informative and helpful. I wouldn't say it's entertaining because our two mugs on webcams being recorded is not my idea of entertainment.
At the very least, it's giving me something to do. It's giving me a sense of purpose.
Besides making short movies, you have to check it out on YouTube. Joe, where can they find your little video?
Oh,
you made a short film.
Using my phone, I decided to have a creative outlet just to keep my brain occupied. And so I created a short film. It's called Isolation on YouTube. My YouTube channel is JAGE750, and had fun putting it together this past week. Now what do I do for the next 30 days? I have to follow it up with something.
The sequel, The Healing. How about that? It's almost like the sun comes out. We can come out into the sunlight, into the new world after this is all done. I can't wait for the sequel.
Right.
One last piece of information before we say see you later for this edition of the podcast is that tune into OnTV.org. Again, we have all of the videos available to be seen on there that are COVID related. We have them in a nice playlist on our VOD. But we also have, what do you call it? We also have, I'm clicking buttons here. I'm still trying to learn the system here. Apologize for the viewers at home. But we also have running in a loop on the government channel on Comcast and on our website. If you live stream the government channel, all of the videos, all of the messages from Township, a variety of information running 24/7. We do have some meetings still running on replay, but most of the time we've streamlined the programming, so pertinent information about how to clean, sanitize, what do you need to do, all that stuff is on the government channel.
You have a meeting coming up?
Oh, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So it looks like since we have technology like this, Joe and I are on Zoom currently, that there are some meetings at Township coming up. The Township Planning Commission is just around the corner. I believe that's on the 15th of April. That's been put back on. The school board will have their regularly scheduled meeting on April 8th, which is next Wednesday, I believe, and that should be 2 p.m. Check the education channel, Comcast channel 22 for details on that. That will be recorded. We will put it out to the Ed channel. And we'll have it for replay and so on running on ONTV's VOD so you can see what's happening to get more detail with what's going on in the school district. And I believe some village meetings are also coming online on the 7th. The DDA meeting's just been scheduled on the 7th, so we'll be doing those as well. So trying to get back to some sort of normalcy with this technology and the webcams and the streaming. So if you're a meeting junkie, and a lot of you I know watching out there in like Orion are, they're coming back. So we're going to get your government in action so you can take a peek at that. What other service could do this besides community television? Right?
Exactly.
Right? I mean, that's why we're here. Channel 7's not going to bring you your local meeting or a podcast with two goofy guys on webcam, huh? All right.
And
so
be sure to watch our channel, Public Access Channel 10. That we got our message board with all kinds of up-to-date and current information. So tune in and watch our channel.
And since you have so much time at home, not you, Joe and myself, but anybody watching at home or listening to this podcast, is that we're looking to have some special programming coming up. I'd like to have, like, let's say a weekend of just a marathon of Lake Orion Dragons sports from this past year or the previous year, from track meets to lacrosse, football, basketball, all that good stuff, softball. If you want to see some decent entertainment that doesn't have to deal with some heavy subject matter, we'll throw out some sports for you guys. So that's in the hopper now. So, all right. So I think that's it. We're approaching an hour. I don't think people want to hear us talk much more than that. I think we shared some good info, and we'll hopefully have some more info. We'll repeat more of these things as these podcasts move along. But thanks for tuning in and giving us some of your time. And we hope it is informative. Again, reach out to us at ONTV@OrionOnTV.org with any ideas for a podcast like this, or for you to share a story. make sure you put in the heading, Lake Orion Cares Podcast. All right. That's it for us here for this edition. Again, I'm Ian Locke, and with me was Joe Johnson. Give a wave, Joe. See you guys later.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yep, and hopefully we can have Joe back on for more chit-chat and other guests as well. So that's it for this edition, and we'll see you next time. Let's see if I can get some music playing. Again, I got 4 computers open down here, and let's see what happens. All right, got some tunes. All right, we'll see everybody later.